Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord Yahweh, your God, am holy. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord Yahweh, your God, which is in the quote-unquote 10 Commandments. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Lord Yahweh, your God. So, meaning don't, when it says turn ye, right, don't resort to or go on to these idols to serve them, right, turning away from the Lord to go to them. And nor make yourselves molten gods, which are, idols, like when you have gold or silver and you melt it down into an idol and worship it like a god. And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord Yahweh, ye shall offer it at your own will. That's a part of it being a peace offering. It's voluntary. It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. So you have to eat it the day you offer it, and the next day after that. If aught remain until the third, so if it's not finished by then, and any is still left until the third day, it shall be burnt with fire. You're not supposed to eat it. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable. It shall not be accepted. So it defiles the offering, and the Lord will not accept it. Thus everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the hallowed thing. So the offering was holy, but by eating what was left on the third day, you profaned it, you corrupted it. And anybody who ate it is going to incur that iniquity upon them. It says, Thou hast profaned the hallowed thing of the Lord Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field. So during a harvest, don't completely reap everything off of your field. Okay, during harvest time, you gotta leave a few here and there. Neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest, right? And the gleanings are like the like basically a complete gathering, right? Every single grain, every single fruit, every single crop. You're not supposed to do that. If some fall, leave it. Okay? If there's one or two left in this part of the tree, leave it. Verse 10, And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. So when you glean it, that's like you go around the first time, you gather what you gathered, then you come back the second time and gather what wasn't gathered before. Then you come around the third time and you just completely clear everything during the harvest. You're not supposed to do that. Why? Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Lord your God. Kind of like a welfare in a way, right? Like a poor person can stumble into your vineyard during the harvest and they can pick a few things. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. Okay? And that's all under the umbrella of like defrauding, right? Or deceiving your neighbor. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely. So somebody says, oh, they swear to the Lord that they're going to do this, but then they're not going to do it. That's swearing falsely. They swear that they saw this happen and this is the truth, and they take an oath in the name of the Lord, but it's not the truth. You're swearing falsely. Neither shalt thou profane the name of the Lord, right? Because in doing so, you would be profaning the name of the Lord and not regarding it with the utmost reverence as you should. Hence, you would not be swearing by it falsely. I am the Lord Yahweh. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, right? To basically scam them, rob them, Neither rob them, both, in and deceptive practices and like literally like sticking somebody up. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee on all night until the morning. So you hire somebody, you have to pay them that day. Okay. You're not supposed to wait until the next day and so on. So you're supposed to get paid daily for the job you do. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but fear thy God, I am the Lord. Right, because you curse the deaf and disrespect them and all that, thinking, well, they can't hear you, but the Lord hears you. Putting a stumbling block before the blind, in a literal sense, it's like actually putting something there that because they're blind, they wouldn't see it and they would trip over it. But it also has a spiritual or a metaphorical or symbolic version of it, which is basically misleading somebody, right? For example, even today, right, in our ministry or in our teachings, you have a lot of people that have become stumbling blocks onto Israel by misleading them, because you have a lot of Israelites that are spiritually blind. So when you tell them or you mislead them using the scriptures, you're putting a stumbling block before them that's going to cause them to fall, okay, or stumble spiritually or mentally. And you're not supposed to do that. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, right? So judge righteous judgment, not as it says, thou shalt not respect the person of the poor. So don't be partial to the poor to show favor to them because they're poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, right? Somebody that is powerful or in high rank or rich. You're not supposed to sway your judgment towards them just because of that. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. You judge righteous judgment. What is right, what is wrong. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer, right? A slanderer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord Yahweh. And what that means there, when you read it in some of these other translations, I think the NIV makes most sense, right? It says, do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord Yahweh. And most of these other translations go into that, right? Don't take a stand against your neighbor's life. ESV, you shall not stand up against the life of your neighbor. Verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. That brother also goes into like a relative. So don't foster or fester that hate of them in your heart. Thou shalt in any wise, and why? Because it would lead to, it would lead to further malice or malicious activities that you don't want to do or be guilty of. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, not suffer sin upon him. So if you see somebody that's doing wrong, you're supposed to call them out on it, rather than just being quiet and letting them do it, and then they go and bear iniquity. All right. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. So seeking revenge, right, and or holding a grudge against fellow Israelites, as it says here, you're not supposed to do that. But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, and that love goes into like the hospitality, right, and the care, just as you would yourself. I am the Lord Yahweh. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. The word gender there goes into like to mate, right, or to reproduce with a diverse kind. So you're not supposed to be crossbreeding your cattle. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. You're not supposed to, if it's an apple field, it should be full of apples, not apple, orange, and then, some other thing in here. You're not supposed to do that. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee. That's wearing clothing of mixed fabrics. You're not supposed to do that. And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid, right? So basically a woman that is a slave, betrothed to an husband, right? But she has been promised to somebody and not at all redeemed. So she hasn't been bought. She's not free. She's still a slave, nor freedom given her. She shall be scourged, right? So she's going to be punished if you lie with her, right? You have sexual intercourse with this woman who has been betrothed to a man, but she's a slave. She's not a free woman. The penalty is that she's going to be scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free. So though it's like adultery, She's not going to be put to death because she was not free. She was a bond woman. She was a slave. As it says, because she was not free. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord Yahweh, the man that laid with her, onto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before the Lord Yahweh for his sin which he hath done, and the sin which he hath done shall be forgiven him. This is different because if she was not a, if she was a free woman, they would both be put to death. Because if she was a free woman that's betrothed to another man, then you go and do that, you're cooked. And when ye shall come into the land and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years shall it be counted as uncircumcised unto you, it shall not be eaten of. So it's gonna basically be untouchable. You shouldn't when you first get in the land and you plant fruit, okay, the first 3 years you got to look at it as like uncircumcised, something that you shouldn't partake of for the first 3 years. But in the 4th year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise the Lord withal. So the 4th year, the fruits of the 4th year would be, worthy of like offerings to the Lord, right? It's holy, and you still would not eat of it. In the 5th year, and in the 5th year shall ye eat of the fruit thereof, that it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am the Lord Yahweh your God. So in the 5th year you can eat, and then it's gonna, the harvest of the 5th year is gonna be, splendid, right? Abundant. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe times. And that goes into divination, right? Divination, conjuring, basically witchcraft. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads. Let's look up here. Where are the corners of your head? So it says here, the corners of your head aren't fixed anatomical points, but rather conceptual areas, referring to 4 key spots on the scalp used in hairstyling. 2 near the temples, the front hairline, and 2 at the sides back, or the 5 corners of the beard, the cheek, and the chin. Let's see if I can take a look at this picture here, right? So you can see here, this dotted part right here. Right, they've basically broken it up, but you have the front scalp, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But these are the corners, okay? The back there, because you'll see this part bends, right? It cuts from the side of your head to the back of your head. From the front of your hairline to the side of your hairline. It's cutting, making a little corner over there. So long story short, this is the lining up the corners of your head, right? Rounding it out. Because now, I mean, what would you use to do that? You would use some means of cutting, right, to round it out. Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Okay, and when you go into the word mar, it's like to destroy. And so your beard naturally grows in a certain way on your face. And when you go and get those like chin lines, and they shave off the whole bottom part of your jaw, and it's just like a line on that you ain't supposed to be doing that. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead. This was a practice, once again, a heathenistic practice, a paganistic practice. Nor print any marks upon you, right? Going into your tattoos, right? It's an example of printing marks upon you. I am the Lord. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. So, for example, you say, hey, you can lay with my daughter for, 50 shekels or 25 shekels, right? You're prostituting your daughter. Lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness, or else before you know it, this guy's daughter is a prostitute, and this one is a prostitute, and this one is prostituting his daughter, and you got household pimps, and that's off. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord Yahweh. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, and familiar spirits are like demons. You could say like helper demons, right? Or like people form a pact with a demon, and then that demon, they can use by the power or the hand of the demon to perform certain practices, right? Divination or other forms of things, right? And you can look those up, familiar spirits. Neither seek after wizards, right? Don't turn to people who practice using witchcraft or wizardry to be defiled by them, right? Because they're going to cause you to go astray, because now you're leaving the guidance of the Lord to go and seek that influence or information elsewhere from the left-hand side. I am the Lord Yahweh your God. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head. Hoary head is a gray head, i.e. your elders. And to rise up it shows reverence, right? You stand up in respect of them. Now, there's the literal sense, but it's to emphasize showing them respect, right? Like they say, respect your elders. Because if you're like somebody that's like crippled, you're not going to be able to rise up, right? But you would still show some beckoning as showing honor, right? It says, and honor the face of the old man and fear thy God. I am the Lord Yahweh. So this wasn't just about, something you were just told as a kid, but it's actually in here. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. Right. So if you have a foreigner, an Israelite foreigner that comes to dwell with you, you're not supposed to mistreat them, right, or oppress them. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, right? So you show him the same level of hospitality as you would anybody else that was born in the land. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord Yahweh your God. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure, right? And this is dealing with measurements to cheat somebody, right? You use false weights, right, or false measures, and then you're scamming people. You're not supposed to do that. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have, right? So correct, accurate weights and measures, so that if somebody buys, 3 shekels worth of wheat, that's exactly how much they're getting. I am the Lord Yahweh your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Lord Yahweh your God, right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And that brings us to the end of the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kudash. And until next time, Shalom.